Hi, I'm Chief Rabbi Fry Mavis, and you're watching Rabbi Doug, and I want to give you very best wishes, kultov to all of you. May Hashem bless you all.
We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug on your TV tonight.
But Daddy, I want to watch Monday Night Football.
Forget about Monday Night Football. There's no other thing we're going to watch on Monday but Rabbi Doug.
Yeah, Rabbi Doug on TV tonight.
Shalom and welcome to Taped with Rabbi Doug. We're here in Beverly Hills, California, and I am here with Rabbi Andrew Shaw. Baruch haba, welcome.
Thank you very much indeed.
Who is here from the UK. He's here from England, and he is the CEO of Mizrachi UK, Hapol HaMizrachi, religious Zionists, and the entire UK is a large undertaking to be a CEO of. First of all, let's find a little bit about you, Andrew, if I could, Rabbi. Tell me, where did you grow up, and did you go to Jewish day schools? What was your background as a child?
I am born and bred in London. That's where I'm from. Raised in a traditional home. One of the unique characteristics of Anglo Jewry is that the United Synagogue, which is the main synagogal body of the country,
familiar.
It's an Orthodox body with the chief rabbi and the Bet Din, but its members don't have to be Shema Shabbat. So you had many members will, come to shul and maybe park around the corner, or will only go to shul 3 times a year, but they are members of an Orthodox shul. So I was one of those people. We were a traditional family, weren't Shema Shabbat, but we were regulars in our shul. And that was my sort of, beginnings of exposure to what a kehillah is. And very much I credit that community. It was Kingsbury United Synagogue in the 1970s and 80s, which had a huge influence on me in terms of making me see the beauty of what a community can be. And probably my eventual involvement in kehillah was very much down to my sort of experiences as a youngster growing up in a strong, vibrant Jewish community.
So where did you go to yeshiva? Where did you get your ordination? And how did that lead you back into communal Jewish life?
So I after I went to a Jewish day school and then a non-Jewish high school in London. We have in England, again, different to America, we have many high schools that are private high schools, which a lot of Jewish, even religious Jewish kids go to for a very high standard of education. So I went to one of those. The Haberdashers' School was my school. And then I went off to Yeshivat HaKotel for my year.
Very nice.
Before university, I did a degree at university, engineering, and then I worked for a year for the Union of Jewish Students, and that's really where, and my time at university, really got the drive to do smicha, to become a rabbi. I eventually got my smicha from who became the Gateshead Rav, Rabbi Zimmerman, in Monsey. I was studying a program there, and I then took my first job in 2000 in a community in Stanmore in London, and again, that's the full circle of what I grew up with, I was able to now, hopefully as a rabbi, give that to the next generation.
Now, did I read you were on a pulpit for about 15 years?
I was in Stanmore Shul for 15 years, correct, in various roles. My initial role was mainly working with the youth, and then it grew to sort of young families and eventually the community education, and I loved it. It was a wonderful community, and even to this day, I left 7-8 years ago, I'm still very much in touch with the members of that shul.
Very, very nice, very nice. What's your relationship with the chief rabbi now? He's been on our show 2 or 3 times, I think. He's been on my TV show. He's a very kind, warm person.
Wonderful.
And when I see him with King Charles,
yes.
I say, hey, we know each other. He doesn't know me very well.
Rabbi Mervis has been a servant for Anglo Jewry for his entire life. He was the chief rabbi of Ireland. He then became the rabbi of Kinloss, one of our largest United Synagogues, and then became chief rabbi. He really is sort of the rabbi's rabbi. And the only thing, he's also the president of Mizrachi UK. The only thing we disagree on is our choice of football team. He is a Tottenham Hotspur fan, I'm an Arsenal fan, so that's the only thing we disagree on.
Soccer.
Only thing we disagree on, but no, he's really made a name for himself in the UK, and I think globally as well, with his warmth and his ability to understand the world around us and speak in a very gentle way about the challenges of the generation.
Wonderful, wonderful. First time I had him on my show was in Chicago. The second 2 times I had him on my show was in Washington at APEC. At
Correct.
APEC.
So he's
So
on the circuit.
APEC supporter.
He's on
and
the
stuff.
circuit, exactly.
Very nice, very nice. So did you ever get involved with B'nai Akiva as a youth?
Oh my goodness.
Is that sort of what led you to your love of Mizrachi? Why you would want to be a CEO and take over such an organization?
So obviously, I mentioned my shul as being a major part of my Jewish growth. B'nai Akiva was another major part of that. We had a Sriva sniff, I don't know what you call it in America, in my local area in Kingsbury, and I went from Hachana onwards every Shabbat, and then eventually became a madrich, and eventually became Rosh of my local area, and then of the national. So B'nai Akiva was absolutely part of my life from age 5 or 6 till I left university, and it's definitely that ideology of Torah v'Avodah has fueled my education, and yes, obviously when I worked as a rabbi in United Synagogue, and also I was director of United Synagogue Education, it was fueled by the ideology of B'nai Akiva and of Mizrachi. So when I was asked by Rabbi Perez to become the CEO of Mizrachi UK back in 2016, it wasn't a change, and nothing changed in what I was doing in Anglo-Jewry. I just went from being a pulpit rabbi and a rabbi working in the center, teaching Torah Yisrael, to heading an organization that teaches Torah Yisrael. So it was a very natural move for me.
So let me, so I'm a member of Mizrachi, and I also grew up in B'nai Akiva, Camp Mosheva.
What shevet were you?
Yeah, Camp Mosheva in Wisconsin.
And what shevet?
Oh, Sheva, Kisufim.
No, so shevet draw.
Sheva Kisufim, yeah. Thank you for asking. I haven't thought about it for a while.
That's how we're defined.
Yes, it is how we're
And
defined.
in fact, I'm here in LA. I'm staying with Rabbi Duna. His wife Sabine. We were in Shevet Draw together. We were B'nai Akiva together all those years ago.
How cool!
Back in London. So,
It's very cool. Who he's speaking about is the rabbi of Young Israel of North Beverly Hills, and very nice. So Mizrachi in Chicago, where we are, not where we are right now, but where we live, my family and I. Mizrachi is sort of a real offshoot of what B'nai Akiva was. So we don't meet every week. We don't have Shabbatons every 3 months, but we have learning sessions. We have guest speakers. We have Tehillim groups when necessary and things like that. And the idea of not being a member of Mizrachi is almost like feeling like if you're a Shomer Shabbat person, that you're not a Zionist. So it really is a chiyuv almost to be a member of Mizrachi if you're a Zionist and you're a Shomer Shabbat. I would say that Mizrachi and B'nai Akiva back in the late 60s, 70s, and 80s was very, very, very popular and much larger in its membership. And then things changed with B'nai Akiva, just like Hachshara. When we were kids, Hachshara was very big. People went to learning and living on kibbutz for their year, their gap year, rather than going to yeshiva. They had that choice, and that isn't a thing anymore per se for it to be an official B'nai Akiva program. But those things change. Things change, but it seems that the same people I was in B'nai Akiva with are the same people who today are the leaders of Mizrachi, and the people who were the counselors, madrichim. They now are the leaders of Mizrachi. Jerry Eisenberg, very involved. He's now the director of the Midwest in Chicago, and certainly all the other people who are in there were people that I knew, almost everyone, as a kid in B'nai Akiva. Is it like that in Mizrachi in UK?
I mean, obviously yes. I mean the team. Yeah, the Mizrachi team in the UK, a lot of us came through B'nai Akiva. In fact, our exec director, Dave Room, was a maskir of B'nai Akiva just a few years ago. He's a young man. And again, our person who works in Manchester, again, she was also on the maskirut for B'nai Akiva. So it does make sense, obviously. I mean, again, we know historically that young Mizrachi was founded sort of in the early 1900s, and that eventually became Bnei Akiva in 1924. So it makes sense. It's the same ideology, it's the same movement. It's just obviously Bnei Akiva is the youth arm of Mizrachi in terms of ideologically. So certainly it's, I'd say most people running World Mizrachi, all of them grew up in Bnei Akiva. It's just who we are.
Very cool. I'm here with Rabbi Andrew Shaw. He is the CEO of Mizrachi UK. We're here on Taped with Rabbi Doug, and we'll be right back.
Mizrachi UK has been created to transform the United Kingdom.
I'm a great admirer of Mizrachi UK and all of its outstanding efforts, particularly in the fields of leadership, community engagement, and the Yehudi program, which is making such a deep impact on our schools and community.
Bringing a Judaism that is relevant, engaging, Zionistic, most importantly, for everybody. The impact of Mizrachi UK is national. We run programs in Manchester, Leeds, Birmingham, Glasgow, and of course London.
It's incredible to see that whenever you walk into a Mizrachi event, you see so many smiles and everybody getting stuck into their roles.
We in Bushy are forever grateful for all the work that Rabbi Andrew Shaw and his team do.
Mizrachi UK has a fantastic array of programs,
constantly providing opportunities for people of all ages,
including
student Beit Midrash on Thursday nights,
Mizrachi, which is a weekly publication,
Yehudi,
Speaker tours,
Dreams of a Nation,
fellowship program,
they had the Yom Rishalayim trip,
Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut events.
The programs we provide are in demand. They are relevant, modern, engaging, and speak to the Jew of the 21st century.
We're clearly having a very meaningful impact on the community.
One of our focuses has always been about leadership for the future. Whether that's sending out talented young men and women to do semicha in Israel, to come back to our community, to take positions in United Synagogue, in chaplaincy, and in schools.
As a woman who wants to learn Torah at a high level, there just aren't those opportunities in the UK. That's why I'm here in Israel learning, and that's something that I want to change when I come back to the UK, Be'ezrat Hashem, in a couple of years, to be able to inspire the UK women to learn and to study and to come closer to Hashem through their Torah knowledge.
We've been working with younger children, leaders in our Yehudi program, recreating the conveyor belt of leadership that led our community for many years. Our young people going through high school, then university, and then eventually onwards to education, teaching, all around it.
I'm Rabbi Akiva Tetz, and you're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug. Welcome back. I'm Rabbi Doug. This is Rabbi Andrew Shaw. He is the CEO of Mizrachi in UK. Mizrachi is the religious Zionists. Now, I think this is something very important to explain to our viewers, and maybe very important to people who are members of Mizrachi, that Hapol HaMizrachi is actually a political party in Israel. It is a political party. Can you tell me a little bit about Hapol Mizrachi as a political party for our viewers and those, a lot of people in who are members of Mizrachi really don't understand or know, and how it sets the tone for Mizrachi and Bnei Akiva?
So certainly Mizrachi was, I think, very political, maybe in yesteryear. Today it's not at all. Today Mizrachi is purely educational. We have no political affiliation to any party in Israel. There are the elections, the World Zionist elections every 4 or 5 years, where the Mizrachi delegation, I guess that's the only time we appear to be political, because we are different factions. You know, the Likud are a faction, Mizrachi are a faction, and so. But that to me is once every 5 years we turn up to Israel and we vote on a few things. That is very much not who we are. I mean, that's what we have to do occasionally, I guess, for divvying out funding from the government, I don't know, but I know that day-to-day Mizrachi UK, and I think Mizrachi globally, led by Rabbi Doran Perez and Rabbi Danny Mervis, is nothing to do with politics and all to do with education. We're not reflecting, and Bnei Akiva, again, Bnei Akiva in England is apolitical. They're not there to teach a certain political line. They're there to educate about Eretz Yisrael, Am Yisrael, and Torah Yisrael. And that's the same with Mizrachi.
So I would say that a great number of people I went to B'nai Akiva with that either they, after high school, somewhere along the way, maybe sometime through college years or after college years, and families of people who I went to B'nai Akiva with, their families went on Aliyah.
Yes.
It was, I would say that probably the reason that Mizrachi and B'nai Akiva sort of went through a shrinking stage in the Midwest and Chicago is because so many families went on Aliyah. Is it the same in the UK? Is Mizrachi really pushing Aliyah, and is Aliyah something that when people get involved in Mizrachi, that's a goal of many families?
No question. B'nai Akiva Mizrachi are a victim of their own success. Meaning when you're based in diaspora and your goal is to encourage Aliyah, obviously you're not going to help yourself. Certainly the Aliyah from the UK, which again has always been a much higher percentage than Aliyah from America, I think 60 to 70% of those making Aliyah from England are Mizrachi B'nai Akiva families. So for sure that's happening, and I certainly, you know, we've seen, and certainly B'nai Akiva as a youth movement, and Mizrachi as an organisation, we're very much supportive of people make Aliyah. The only sort of, I guess, caveat we have, certainly something that I feel very strongly about, is that we want to make sure our young men and women from B'nai Akiva come back after Yeshiva and Sem to help out in the community, to run B'nai Akiva, to run all the stuff they do, and then make Aliyah, rather than making Aliyah straight from Yeshiva and Sem, because then we, Anglo Jewry runs on those wonderful boys and girls who come back from Yeshiva and Sem to really drive the community for the 3 or 4 years while they're doing their degrees, to then make Aliyah after that. So a large percentage of B'nai Akiva do make Aliyah. And obviously I think in the UK it's something that we're very proud of.
Very nice. So the programming for family programming through B'nai Akiva and Mizrachi are separate in Chicago, although they come out of the same office and stuff. But for example, the Yom HaTzmaut dinner that we have every year with Tfilah Chagiga and stuff, that's B'nai Akiva. Yom Yerushalayim is Mizrachi, and very popular. A lot of people, you know, who went to Ida Crown Jewish Academy are the center of the Zionist communities in Chicago. So you have a lot of people who are coming back that were in B'nai Akiva and went to Ida Crown. That's a big thing. My own daughter, who's a big B'nai Akiva person over the years, my youngest daughter, who's now a senior in high school, she will be a B'nai Akiva Madricha at Camp Mosheva this summer,
right.
And before she goes to seminary. And that's something that she decided on her own that she wanted to do because it's all because of her love for Israel. And I don't know if you know this, but the Ida Crown Jewish Academy, which Rabbi Mateki, who you know very well, is the principal, the dean, he escorted with the entire senior class to Israel for 1 month in December, January, and they volunteered on, they stayed on a kibbutz, they volunteered every day doing different things, going to Moshavim, and at each Moshav, going onto the farms and harvesting oranges, harvesting vegetables, whatever other things in that category, grapefruits and everything. They did that different days. Then other days they went to the hotels in Israel and they did programs with the children from the displaced families who are living in the hotels temporarily from the south and the north. And so they did that. And then other day, on Thursdays, they actually cooked and packed up food for Shabbat for the front lines, to be sent to the front lines. So it was a month of that and learning every night.
Amazing.
And learning every night. Very amazing. So they were the first group to do it. It was written up and everything. But I just, that's part of the Zionist feeling. The feeling that you have to be involved in Zionist things because we love Israel and support Israel. And this is part of our love and support for Israel. Are you having programs like in the UK? I don't know how often your programs and your get-togethers are with the adults, but are you doing things for Yom HaTzmaut and for Yom Yerushalayim with the adults and so on and so forth like we do in Chicago?
Mizrachi UK is very unique in the world because we don't have a school and we don't have a shul. So what we decided to do when we set up X many years ago, 2016, was to work with every school and with every shul to try and inject our hashkafa into all those places. So yes, there is definitely on Yom Ha'atzmaut, but Bnei Akiva run the event and we join them, and on Yom Yerushalayim we run the event and they join us. So that happens. But the rest of the year, we are doing a lot of programming in communities that may not be Mizrachi communities. Even people that come to our events are not religious people; they are traditional people. But we spread our Torah far and wide. We have our flagship event. It's called the Weekend of Inspiration. We bring about 40 speakers from Israel to go to our kielot on schools on Friday, our kielot on Shabbat, and they speak in kielot across the country to predominantly secular or traditional audiences. And then on Sunday we have various learning days in different communities. So we really have a very broad range of where we're impacting. And so because we don't have our own school, our own shul, we feel a responsibility to impact positively on all the shuls, and we have tremendous support from our communities who are very welcoming and very supportive of the work we do.
Very nice. So being that you're in England, and it's a lot closer than we are and a lot less expensive to travel than for us, do you now, as the CEO of Mizrachi, do you fly to Israel a lot more often now? Do you have a lot of things going on there?
I mean, obviously, October 7th changed that to a certain extent, and COVID obviously curtailed it for a certain extent. But I would say, in a regular year, I probably find myself in Israel 6 to 7 times a year in terms of, and plus the family holidays I want to take there with my family. My family all lives there, but there's a lot of work, a lot of, World Mizrachi are building up such an incredible network of programs that are benefiting the global branches. So, for example, they have a leadership weekend of all the leaders of all their programs. That's in January, so I'm always there in January to be at the Shabbaton. Part of our work in Mizrachi, we do a program where we use our yeshiva and SEM returnees to be mentors to high school students who are therefore who are also mentors to elementary school students. So part of my job is to go out there every year, probably 3 or 4 times a year, to visit every single British kid in yeshiva and SEM to get to know them, to connect with them.
That's awesome.
So that's another few times, and then there's just general stuff that we do. Meeting with our fellows. We have hopefully more and more, but we've had 7 or 8 British students who studied in yeshiva in Mizrachi programs. Again, I'm visiting them, plus any shlichim we're bringing back to the UK. So Israel is a regular destination. I think I worked out this year I'll probably be going, 9 times in this calendar year, because again, yes, it's close, but also it's the centre of all the work we do.
Very nice.
And everything that we need is in Israel.
Very nice. So what can we do, because relatively small numbers are in the global Mizrachi world. What can we do to spread the religious Zionism? What can we do to encourage religious Zionism and for Mizrachi to grow to what it may have been in the 70s when it was at its peak?
Correct.
What can we do to do that?
Well, it's interesting you said it, because I know from Jerry, Rabbi Eisenberg, he told me that I think in the 50s there were 3,000 chapters of Mizrachi across America. Now there's 1 in Chicago. So, I mean, again, I think, the vision for America, I think, is very different from the vision for the UK. I think in the US, there's you're blessed with institutions such as the OU, such as YU, which reflect a lot of the values anyway that Mizrachi stands for in terms of modern orthodoxy and religious Zionism. So I think, and that's something we don't have in the UK, which was there when there was such a need for Mizrachi UK to be established and to grow. And I think, when you think of the impact that Mizrachi is having on the world, certainly in Israel, I mean, World Mizrachi, I think, have run over 70 missions for diaspora communities. So people are coming into Israel, and Mizrachi is the address they go to in Israel in terms of the missions and support for Israel. And I think, obviously, we want to strengthen our institutions. I've always believed that we have a tremendous responsibility to do outreach. I think our ideology can really reach out beyond our sort of group to other Jews. I mean, certainly in England that is, because, as I said, we have United Synagogue has, 60% of the community affiliates to it, and they're all traditional Zionist families. So for us, Mizrachi very much want to inspire and to educate in that world. I think in America it's slightly more challenging because there is sort of Orthodox is a bit more narrow in terms of its affiliation in America than it is in the UK and Europe. I think we can always do more. I think the programs that are created by different branches, by the different Sniffim B'nai Akiva, are always, bringing in more and more people, and that should be encouraged and increased.
Very good, very good. So, one big question to ask you, throughout your years growing up, who was your Jewish influence? Who was your rabbi or teacher that influenced you most to keep you on the derech that you're on right now? And what was his name, of course?
If I had to pick one, it would probably be Rabbi Sachs,
who I've also had on my TV show, by the way.
Because he was in 1991. He became the chief rabbi. I just become an undergraduate student, and we, from that point on, we were in communication. A lot of the projects that I headed up as a student, he was very much helped and inspired us. Very much, I would say, was his drive to create the next generation of leadership that encouraged me to become a rabbi, and certainly my work in United Synagogue, the projects I ran then, he was very much a huge support and a huge encouragement to me. So certainly on that level, for my career, he was that. In terms of my growing up, it's a very good question. I think the first rabbi that really made an impact on me was probably Rabbi Jonathan Dove, who was my chaplain at university. Him and his wife Joanne were incredibly supportive, and I think that campus is a very challenging time.
I know very well
for students, and I was in Leeds University, and they were my chaplains, and they were wonderful in terms of the support they gave and the encouragement, and again, non-judgmental, and were there for all the students, and they really, I look back with tremendous gratitude to their impact on those very formative years of my life as my rabbi on campus.
Very, very nice. So mine was Rabbi Jay Carson. He lives in Yerushalayim. He's 89 years old right now as we're taping. And he was my shul rabbi growing up. And I just, he took me with him when he did weddings to make sure that somebody would be Shomer Shabbos there to sign the ksuba with him. If there wasn't somebody else or there were only family members, which was often, he did that. And he took me to Levayas with him to help him just to carry his books and be with him. And kind of just, it kind of groomed me to figure out, in my own way, how to do things that I liked. I certainly caught on with me as a rabbi, and things that I thought, no, that's not me. I didn't, but he really was my biggest influence, and I still am in close touch with him today. But it's so nice to hear that Rabbi Sachs was such an influence for you.
Yes,
because I loved spending time with him. He was on my show in Washington also, and a great guy as well. And Rabbi Mervis, I just adore him.
Yes, I know. I can understand.
Wonderful. Well, I can't thank you enough for being on the show.
Pleasure.
Rabbi Andrew Shaw, the CEO of Mizrachi UK, here in the United States, here in Los Angeles, in Beverly Hills right now with me. And thank you for being with us. Remember, you can check out our website, www.tvrabbi.com, where you can also see former shows on the web. If you want to send Rabbi Andrew an email or send me an email, you can send it to info@tvrabbi.com. I'll forward it to him, and I know he'll get back to you personally. Let's pray for safety for our soldiers, peace in Israel, and we hope to see you next time right here on Taped with Rabbi Doug.
This has been a Taped with Rabbi Doug production.